Assalamu alaikum and welcome to morEwish Cuisine. Today marks the 100th episode of my video series. A huge thank you to everyone from around the globe who have subscribed to my YouTube. Never in my wildest dream, but I've imagined hundreds of friends will be watching, learning, and smiling along as I cook away in my little kitchen. Thank you so much for all your support and help. And in celebration, today I'm sharing first video of my baking series, and today I'm sharing recipe for plain tea time cake. This best ever traditional Pakistani bakery style butter cake, pound cake or tea time cake is super moist, easy to make, and this cake truly is the best. My family and I could not stop eating it. The smell of this takes me back to my childhood. A slice of this at tea time was a real treat. So let's go and see what we need for this recipe. So things we need for this recipe will be, I have some fine sugar. If you have big granules, you can grind your sugar as well. Then I have all-purpose flour, maida, baking powder, vanilla essence. I have 2 eggs, some milk. Then I'll be using oil instead of butter. Then I have this yellow food color. You can use powder yellow color as well. Then for baking, I'll be using loaf pan. I have 1 glass and that's 1 regular steel pan. This is 9 by 5 inches. So you can use either one of them. And these are all the ingredients which I'll be using today. Let's go and make it happen. So first thing first I'm preheating my oven on 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 centigrade. Then we need to grease our pan. Even if you're using the non-stick pan, you need to grease your pan. And I have this non-stick baking spray. I'm using that, but you can grease your pan with oil or butter as well. And then keep it on the side and let's start making our batter. But first we need to mix our flour with the baking powder. You can do it in a mixing bowl and mix it with the spoon. But it's better to sift a flour with the baking powder. Expert says we need to do this process thrice, but if you are doing it at least once, that's good as well. So just mix your baking powder with the flour and sift them together. Sifting actually helps to remove any lumps from the flour which could affect our baking, and also it removes any unwanted debris which is in the flour or in the baking powder. In addition, sifting helps to combine the flour with other dry ingredients like baking powder before they're added to the recipe. And now keep this flour mixture on the side as well for a while and let's start making our batter. And for batter, first we need to cream together our eggs with sugar, and I'm using my stand mixture, but you can use handheld mixture or regular whisk as well. It's gonna take little more time of course, but it's not compulsory to have a electric beater or a stand mixture for this cake. So just beat your egg and sugar for like 2 to 3 minutes until they change their color. But in the intervals, just scrape the sides. Sometimes sugar settle down at the bottom of our mixing bowl. So just scrape the side, make sure everything is completely mixed, and then start beating again until you have a egg and sugar creamy smooth mixture. So here you can see I have a pale creamy sugar egg mixture. Sugar is completely dissolved with the eggs. Now scrape the sides again and then add vanilla essence. You can use lemon extract as well, and then add oil. Here today I'm using oil in this recipe for 2 reasons. One is to stay on a budget, and second, I want to share the exact recipe like we used to have back home from a bakery. But you can use butter as well to give it a richer and more decadent flavor. So just start beating again on a medium speed for like 2 more minutes and until everything is thoroughly combined. Now I'm doing an additional and optional step here. You can skip this step. I'm adding yellow food color just to give it a same color like we used to have back home from a bakery. So you can use, I'm using a gel color, but you can use a regular powder food color as well, which we use for our biryani and pulao. Again, it's an optional step. You can skip that step as well. Now scrape the sides again, and now it's time to add baking powder and flour mixture. You can fold it with the help of spatula, but I am mixing in a mixture on lowest speed until it's just combined. And while I'm mixing the flour, I add the milk as well. So as soon as the flour and milk is completely combined with the other stuff, just stop the beater and scrape the sides one more time, and then transfer it onto our prepared baking pan. Just pour your batter onto your prepared pan and then lightly tap your pan onto your counter to take off any bubbles, and you can smooth the top with the help of spatula as well. And here you can see they are like little splashes of batter onto my pan. I prefer to clean my pan before putting it in the oven. It's gonna help later while I'm cleaning my pan, and then you don't smell any burn batter because they're very small. They're gonna cook fast and then they're gonna burn in the end. So just put your prepared pan into your preheated oven and bake it for like 30 to 40 minutes or until the toothpick inserted comes out clean. So just take out the cake from the oven and put it on the wire rack and leave it like this in a pan for at least 15 minutes before inverting the cake. So after like 10-15 minutes, just slide the spatula on the sides of the pan, especially at the corners, to lose the edges, and then just invert the cake on to the wire rack. It's gonna be a little tricky. Use the gloves, don't burn your hands. What I did, I put the wire rack on top of my pan and then invert it upside down and then put it on the counter again, and then with the help of spatula I just lift up the pan very carefully and then picked up my warm cake with the help of gloves as well, and then put it the right side up and let it cool down completely on the wire rack. I know it's hard to resist, and especially warm piece of cake slice with the coffee is a heaven on earth. So when your cake completely cools down, cut into 1/2 inch thick slices. You can keep this cake in an airtight container for up to 3 weeks, or you can keep it in the fridge as well. But I bet this cake is so soft and yummy, it won't last more than a week for sure. I wish you guys can feel how soft this cake is while I was cutting that first slice, and the perfect brown top with the soft and moist cake from inside. And as I already told you, it was so hard to resist, so I was cutting the warm cake to have it with my cup of coffee. My kids thoroughly enjoyed it, and that smell in the kitchen was amazing. This cake is the lightest, fluffiest, and the tastiest simple plain vanilla cake ever. This old-fashioned cake has been around for a very long time. If you look over the years, the style have changed. The icing to the cakes has changed the flavors. But if you really look at the cake itself, it's really the same. And if you try this traditional recipe, don't forget to take a picture and tag me on Facebook, Twitter, or on Instagram. And if you want to learn something else, let me know. Leave me a comment down below and I try to make it happen for you guys. And once again, thank you so much for your love and support. And as always, thank you so much for watching. And if you like this recipe, you can click on these links to enjoy more recipes like this.